What's going on, guys? And we're hearing the Lakers are interested in Kyrie Irving and Fred VanVleet. And but we're not even going to really talk about Kyrie because unless I want to hear your thoughts, I personally don't think Kyrie is going to be able to get to Los Angeles as simply the Mavericks can offer him the most appealing deal. They can offer him the most money and basically in terms of contract length and salary, while also they've came out and said they're not going to help him in a signing trade. And the only way I can see a signing trade happening is if Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis are available. Okay, like they're not going to take D'Angelo Russell. So we're going to talk about Fred VanVleet to the Lakers, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think Kyrie goes? I mean, Kyrie's the one who decides in a way, but Kyrie would just be going there taking less money to play with LeBron. At that point, what it seems like the Mavs are saying. And what we're hearing, though, Fred VanVleet is clearly seeming that he is on his way out from Toronto. Now, Fred VanVleet is a guy that is one of the top free agents in this year's, free agency class. And I think it definitely brings up an interesting thing to think about because when you look at this upcoming free agency, James Harden, Kyrie are the top two, and third, you probably say Fred VanVleet, who's a confident floor general who can get buckets from all over the floor and create for his teammates. He's actually a high motor, willing defender, even though he's physically limited, but he gives a lot of effort on that end. He averaged 19.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, did shoot 39% from the field and 34% from three. And Fred VanVleet, though, was a guy that even though those shooting splits, he did have a down year. He's a career 37% three-point shooter, 40% from the field. And this past year, his effective field goal percentage was at 48.6, but he's a career 50%. But his PER was 17, which it was above his career average of 16.8, I believe, or 16.2, my apology. And his true shooting on the season actually was not that bad. He shot 54%, which wasn't as good as the year before, but better than 2020. And league average is 55. He shot 54.5, basically, or 54 even. So he's not bad. Now, how much does he want? Supposedly he wants a Jalen Brunson deal. Yeah, he wants Jalen Brunson money. And that's kind of why the Raptors aren't wanting to pay him, because Jalen Brunson got like 4-year, $104 million, and that's on an average salary of $26 million a year. And I think we've heard Fred VanVleet say he wants close to 30. And I look at the Lakers, salary, and we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, the Lakers are in a great position to offer this. I mean, they technically, in theory, they got a lot of other contracts they got to figure out before that. And I don't know if dropping $30 million on Fred VanVleet's the way to go. Obviously, it becomes a lot easier if you can move on from Mo Bamba and Malik Beasley, because that's about $27 million you'd be saving. I say keep Jared Vanderbilt. But if you can move on from Malik Beasley and Mo Bamba, not a bad signing, because then you open up like $27 million. Now, I do think the idea that if you keep D'Angelo Russell, bring him back on like a 2-year, $30 million deal, maybe go out and get yourself a combination of other decent guards. Like, I don't know how much Jordan Clarkson will be, but Jordan Clarkson could be a guy, and then you go get a defensive guy. I know Bruce Brown isn't a point guard, but he'd be a good, player to get in. But an actual point guard, probably they bring back Schroeder, but the point guard market's very bare this year, because this is the top point guard options behind Fred VanVleet, okay? After Fred VanVleet, who is the second best point guard behind Kyrie that's going to be available, but Kyrie's probably staying. So it goes Fred VanVleet, then you go down to D'Angelo Russell probably, then Jordan Clarkson are probably on the same level. Then you have Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder. All right. Austin Reeves is more of a shooting combo guard. Same thing with Bruce Brown. Same thing with Karis LeVert. So you sit here and you're like, all right, the point guard position's kind of bare. Like DiVincenzo's more of a combo. Then after that, it's like Trey Jones is the next pure point guard that's available, or Ayo Dosunmu or Kobe White if you really want to buy into that. You're not going to bring back Pat Bev, okay? Javon Carter could be that defensive-minded point. Like if you bring in like Jordan Clarkson, Javon Carter, and D'Angelo Russell back, I think that'd be good because whenever you need defense, you put out Javon Carter and he's a good 3-point shooter. But I just don't see spending $30 million on one guy's the best thing.